is a sport that I think too many people underestimate. Yes, I live in one of the greatest cities in the greatest state in the greatest country in the world, Columbus, Ohio, and we have the Crew SC. Now, for most of you out there, you probably know who the Columbus Crew are, but for some of you out there, we're going to give you a brief history. So, most people don't know this, but Crew SC, or the Columbus Crew, they started playing in 1996. They were one of the 10 founding teams of the Major League Soccer League here in the United States. What's great about it is we have started a tradition here in Columbus because we are a soccer town, and most people don't want to admit that. Yeah, we have the Buckeyes. Yeah, later on came the Blue Jackets. Nothing's going to trump the Buckeyes. But when it comes to the Crew are the black and gold that live here in Ohio. And we also have home to the first soccer-specific venue in the United States. You might want to call it Moffray Stadium. I call it Crew Stadium. It's always going to be Crew Stadium. Now, obviously, I'm a Crew lover, Crew fan. I live and breathe black and gold. I like to hang out in the Nordeca during games and really get the Crew experience. If you've never sat in the Nordeca, please get out there, check it out. Now, I do follow some other teams. Some people might not like me for this. I'm a DJ outside of here, so I actually did perform DJ services for a certain, how do you say this? A certain rival, certain competitor of the Crew. Yes, I performed for the Portland Timbers when they won the MLS Cup. I got to hold the cup. Unfortunately, it was bittersweet because it wasn't my team winning, but it was cool to hang out with them and get to hold the MLS Cup. Now, I also follow soccer in many different forms, international. I love different leagues like Bundesliga, Premier. One of my favorite teams, I lived in Germany for 2.5 years. I followed Bayern Munich religiously, got to watch them play, win championships. I was about 2 weeks short of actually getting to be in Germany when the World Cup was going on in 2006. So, it's very, very bittersweet that I didn't get to participate in some of the biggest things out there soccer-wise, but I live in Columbus, Ohio, and we are a soccer town. So, you might have heard about a few different things that go on with Columbus, but when it comes to the Columbus Crew, we have tradition. We always have had tradition. We always will have tradition, from, again, the Nordeca and hanging out with the true diehard black and gold fans out there to, our flavor man, our ambassador, Frankie Hayduke, hanging out, getting to know everybody. He is the man that represents the Crew on a day-to-day basis, and I'm sorry, they couldn't have picked anybody better to represent the Crew. He was the captain of the Crew when they won the MLS Cup. He was a member of the U.S. national team, and man, does that guy have some energy, and that's what the Crew is all about. We also have another tradition. When the U.S. men's national team comes into town, we are known as the home venue, truly the home venue of the U.S. men's national soccer team, especially when we play a certain team south of the border. If you haven't heard of Dos Acero, you need to go out there and look it up right now, because there is not an experience like it when it's a World Cup qualifier and you are sitting there up 2-0 against one of the world's premier soccer teams. So, talking about world's premier soccer teams, we're going to go ahead and broaden out for just a second here, and we're going to talk about some of the stuff that happened outside of Columbus soccer-wise. We'll come back to it in a minute. But I don't know if you guys know this, but speaking of tradition, there is a soccer match that goes on called El Clasico, and it features the Football Club Barcelona versus Real Madrid, and it is a heater every year. And this year especially was big because you had two of the world's top soccer players facing off against each other in Lionel Messi and Ronaldo. Oh, if I can talk today. But Lionel Messi is one of the biggest up-and-comers, and everyone, if you don't know who Ronaldo is in the soccer world, you might need to just take a step back, get some books out, and learn a little bit. But it was a great, great match this weekend. Ended up finishing in dramatic fashion, 3-2 win for Barcelona. It really looked like it was going to come down to the two big guys going head-to-head, and Messi just got the shot that he needed. And the next thing you know, he is jumping for joy with his teammates. So, I'll give it to Messi. He really knows how to control the ball. Just the week before, Ronaldo had played in a match and really controlled that in the Champions League. But when it comes to two Spanish teams going at it, you can't ask for a better outcome when it's down to the last few minutes and you end up getting that final score against pretty much your rival. I don't know about you guys, but tradition and rivalries kind of big here in Ohio. So it'd be nice to find out what you guys thought about the rivalry when it comes to the Crew, who their rival really is. I was looking at the expansion early on and was really hoping that they were going to bring Cincinnati Soccer Club into the MLS, because I think that would have created such an amazing rivalry. But if you guys have any take on this, go ahead and give me a call, 614-641-0674. Let me know who you think the Crew's rival is out there. I know there's a lot of teams we've talked about. Like I said, Portland Timbers, yeah, they took away the cup a couple years ago. We took them out earlier this season. Crew's looking good this year. We're down a few injuries. We got a few this weekend, and we'll get into how the game went this weekend and some updates on that a little bit later. But it's always fun talking about rivalries. Yeah, you've got the Buckeyes and that team up north. If you're talking college football, being from Ohio, you got the Browns and the Steelers. Yeah, kind of stinky again. Well, hopefully they'll break out of it and we'll get some good rivalry games out of that one again. But the Crew seem to play everyone, and in my opinion, I think the rivalry really lands on two different teams. You're either looking at New England or you're looking at DC United. And to me, DC United tops everyone. It's always been a showdown between those two teams over the last 10, 15 years. I mean, it's always come down to who's going to be the better team, who is going to get that break. We're going to see if the Crew can pick it up and get some fresh bodies in there, get some people that are going to help them go after that championship again. I don't know. Crew SC. Yeah. Not sure at all what to do.
Take a quick break, come back again with some more soccer.
Yeah, we'll be back in just a second with some more Crew SC and World Soccer after this.
Nasty Sports Bar in Reynoldsburg is under new management. Located at 6150 East Main Street, the home for Taco Tuesday is rejuvenated and the home for great food and family fun. Nasty Sports Bar is a great place for happy hour, serving $2 domestics, $3 glasses of wine, and $5 appetizers, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Call 614-864-2827 to find out the daily specials. Nasty's. Great food, family fun, with a cool name.
Listen to ScoreOnAir.com for your chance to win. Every Friday, we will be giving away a prize pack, and here's how you can qualify. Send us a message with your name, phone number, email, and date of birth to our Facebook or Twitter account. Just search Your Score on Air, or you can call or text any of our live shows at 614-641-0674 and tell them you want to win. It's that easy. A new winner will be selected every Friday at 7 p.m. This is your home for the new generation of sports talk radio and weekly prize giveaways. ScoreOnAir.com. The Score.
I'm Jake Safranco with your Sports Doc Minute, brought to you by the OHSAA and the Ohio Media School. Now here's the Sports Doc, Dr. Chris Stankovich.
Does your son or daughter struggle with nerves when it comes to competing in sports? If so, it's important to know that this is perfectly normal. In fact, professional athletes struggle with the very same anxieties that your son or daughter does while competing. Nerves are a result largely because of cognitive appraisals, and what that means is how we perceive things often dictates how our bodies will respond. You might want to think of this as fight or flight. In fact, when I work with athletes, I ask them, do they view pressure situations as challenges or do they see them as threats? If they view them as challenges, they often gain confidence, sharpen their focus, and become even more motivated to succeed. But if they see the situation as threatening, that's when anxiety creeps in and usually compounds matters. So it's important that you look at skills that can help, including deep breathing, using imagery, and reminding your child of the importance of positive self-talk.
This has been your Sports Doc Minute, brought to you by the OHSAA and the Ohio Media School. Enrolling now, visit beonair.com.
Are you a sports fan looking to expand your sports memorabilia collection? Well, First and Goal has you covered better than the Ohio State Secondary. First and Goal is your #1 place to find all the sports collectibles of your dreams. We are located at Polaris Fashion Place in Columbus and the mall at Fairfield Commons of Beaver Creek. Stop on in and you'll find autographed jerseys, helmets, photographs, and much more that will make you the envy of the neighborhood. Feel free to give us a call at 614-896-1016 for our store at Polaris, or call us at 937-427-4737 in Beaver Creek. For all your sports collectibles and more, it's First and Goal.
Matty Ice here, proud alum of the Ohio Media School. Are you looking for a new career? Not just a job, but a fulfilling career? If you want to work in media, radio, television, sports broadcasting, or film and video production, you need to check out the Ohio Media School's Columbus campus today. Their updated radio and television broadcasting program will even have you ready to work in a field you'll love in just 8 months. Stop by the Ohio Media School's audio and video studios today to see it for yourself. Visit beonair.com. That's beonair.com.
Do you like talking Buckeyes?
Yes! Oh my God!
So do we. Just not all the time. We're home for the largest variety of sports talk. This is the new generation of sports talk radio. ScoreOnAir.com. The Score.
Nasty Sports Bar in Reynoldsburg is under new management. Located at 6150 East Main Street, the home for Taco Tuesday is rejuvenated and the home for great food and family fun. Nasty Sports Bar is a great place for happy hour, serving $2 domestics, $3 glasses of wine, and $5 appetizers, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Call 614-864-2827 to find out the daily specials. Nasties. Great food, family fun, with a cool name.
Come out and join us at Flavor 91 for their grand opening. Flavor 91 is located at 5186 East Main Street, Whitehall, Ohio. Flavor 91 is a burger bistro and offers such beverages as beer and wine. Again, the grand opening is September 15, 2016 at 1 p.m. 5186 East Main Street, Whitehall, Ohio. Join us at Flavor 91.
Matty Ice here, proud alum of the Ohio Media School. Are you looking for a new career? Not just a job, but a fulfilling career? If you want to work in media, radio, television, sports broadcasting, or film and video production, you need to check out the Ohio Media School's Columbus campus today. Their updated radio and television broadcasting program will even have you ready to work in a field you'll love in just 8 months. Stop by the Ohio Media School's audio and video studios today to see it for yourself. Visit beonair.com. That's beonair.com.
You're listening to the Crew SC Soccer Show on ScoreOnAir.com Columbus and the Be On Air Network.
Welcome back to our second segment of the Crew SC Soccer Show. I'm Joe Mikulski, and we were talking about tradition before we went to break, and you want to talk about tradition when it comes to the soccer world. Let's talk the Derby. I'm talking about the Manchester Derby. It's a football match held between Manchester City and Manchester United. First time ever held was 1881, and they're getting ready to hold another episode of it on Thursday at 3 o'clock in Manchester. Now, I've always dreamt of going to Old Trafford and seeing Manchester United wallop somebody on their home turf, because it's like the temple of soccer when it comes to European soccer. And nothing says more of a rivalry or a tradition than the Derby when it comes to Manchester City and Manchester United. Two teams from the same city fighting it out. And I mean, it gets dirty. It's been bloody. It's been crazy. And fans take this to a new extreme. Now, you're talking about a staple of a soccer player like Wayne Rooney playing in probably what some are saying might be his last Derby. He's getting up there in age. He hasn't been as productive. He's still the leading scorer in the Derby. He has 11 goals against Manchester City. So no other player has scored that many goals in the Derby in its history. First meeting was November 1881, and it ended up being an 0-3 scoreline. So, obviously the tradition, the competitiveness of the game gets a little bit more as it goes along. Obviously, 1881 is a long time ago, and the game has definitely changed. But for the most part, the tradition is still there, and that's what makes it such a great game to watch. So if you're getting a chance to, Thursday, 3 o'clock, Premier League matchup, Manchester City versus Manchester United, you don't want to miss that. Talking about tradition as well, we're going to bring it back to the stateside, and we're going to talk a little bit about the U.S. national team. Now, I am a big soccer enthusiast. I follow all forms of it. Like I said, international, MLS, national teams, and I had been calling for this for a while, and finally the U.S. men's national team did it. They got rid of Jurgen Klinsmann. Hallelujah. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but he was starting to get a little predictable. You could just kind of see what was going on. Now, lineup-wise, not so predictable, and I think that's what got a little crazy. You knew what the man was going to do tactically, but you didn't know what he was going to do with his lineup. 1 week it could be the first 10 guys, and then next week you've got a totally different group of guys going out on the field. I think the only thing that we got used to was maybe the goalie. And honestly, you better keep the same goalie in there. But now they've gotten rid of Klinsmann, and they've brought in Bruce Arena. And I don't know, he wasn't my first pick on the line, but who knows? The guy gets a second chance. He was, coach of the U.S. men's national team previously, back in October 1998. He took over. He did reach the quarterfinals in 2002 of the World Cup. But, outside of that, I'm not so sure what he's going to bring to the table that's going to change anything up. He does have new players. He's got a few that he's used to. He's got Clint Dempsey there. But outside of that, he really has a whole new squad of guys. It's nice to see some of the guys stepping up from the MLS, and then some of the younger guys that aren't necessarily in the league that are stepping up as well. But we're going to find out how well they do. They definitely have looked a little different in the most recent qualifiers, and we're going to see what happens. I don't know. What do you think, Jake?
So, I mean, it seems to me that are there no other soccer coaches that you have to come back to a guy that failed already for you? I mean, are we talking like George Steinbrenner and Billy Martin here? Is this guy, I as someone who's a casual observer of soccer, it seems to me that once you go away from Klinsmann, to bring back someone with a whole new set of players that has already failed with one set of players, these new players know his history.
Well, he only lasted 4 years as the coach of the national team.
That's a long time, 4 years.
4 years is pretty good. I mean, that's your World Cup run, but it seemed like after that they just kind of dropped him, and I agree with you. You're going to bring him back with new guys, a new system. It's going to take a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, where do you go from here? What are your expectations? Because in the United States, we have a pretty long history of being awesome at sports. Okay. And the reason we aren't great at soccer is because we have too many other cool sports. No offense. But we have football and baseball that are both American sports. You have basketball that's an American sport. So you look around the country and you ask yourself, why are these other countries better than us? Or around the world, and ask why the other countries are better than us. It's because this has been ingrained in them their entire lives. This is their goal. This is what they wanted to shoot for if they were athletes. They didn't have these other major pro sports that were willing to pay them money to play them. So I think in that regard, that's why the United States men's team isn't year after year a dominant team, because you got athletes. The greatest athletes in America are going elsewhere. Now, why are the women so successful, you ask? Same reason the rest of the world. There aren't a lot of high-paying sports jobs for women in this country. So soccer is one of them. And we have the best athletes in the world. And what do? We dominate in women's soccer. So, until they get rid of football and baseball and everything else in America, I don't know if you can get the elite athletes to play soccer.
Well, you talk about elite athletes and soccer. I don't know if you saw this. I saw it like a week ago that there was a club out there that has talked about signing Randy Moss to play goalkeeper for them. And Randy says he has a history with soccer. From what I've heard, they actually signed him to a temporary contract. They're going to give him a chance. The guy has some hands, so.
Well, and he's got some length too, but in any goaltender situation, it's about the angles. And that takes years and years to really develop a great goaltender at the level of World Cup, in Team USA.
I think that he'd be good. I mean, the man can catch, and he's willing to put his body out there. I don't know how much anymore with the age, but, the man has proven that he will lay out to get his hands on the ball. So,
and you got to figure he's got good twitch instincts.
Yeah.
That's really what you're looking for in a goaltender, because we see every time penalty kicks make all the difference. If you can get a goaltender that can save 1 of 5, you're going to win a lot of matches that are close.
Yeah. And, speaking of, what other coaches are out there, I honestly think the U.S. men's national team, they passed up on somebody that's sitting right there front row center that I personally think would have done great. Yes, he's already the head coach of a professional team, and I'm talking about Mr. Caleb Porter, the coach of the Portland Timbers, and he actually has a tie here to Ohio. Most people don't know this, but he was the coach of the University of Akron soccer team when they won the national championship. Tiny little soccer program that really had no foothold on any kind of sports map whatsoever, and he takes an unknown player, not unknown anymore, Mr. Darlington Nagbe, and he pushes this team all the way through to a national title, and then he decides to go out and take the professional world on. Oh, wait, hold on. Who'd the Timbers pick up that very next year? They picked up Darlington Nagbe. So those two went together, went on, and within 2 years had themselves an MLS Cup. I don't know about you guys, but the guy is young, he's hungry, he's smart. I just don't see why we don't go somewhere near that, why we keep going back to the old guys that,
Right.
Yeah, the experience proves it, but I think it also proves we haven't been able to get past a certain point.
Well, and I think you need a leader, and you need a leader that has had success in doing this, and that makes perfect sense to me. I don't know what the MLS can pay him, but I'm sure USA Soccer can pay him a whole hell of a lot more. And to have that type of coach out there and then to turn back to a retread, I don't know what USA Soccer is doing with their men's program right now. I have no clue, because winning isn't obviously anything that's a major concern at this point.
Well, I think once you've gotten so used to
losing,
not winning. I was going to say not winning, but losing is just the same. Once you've gotten used to not winning, your expectations seem to just stay lower, and it seems like they're fine with just settling. They're not willing to go out there and take the chance, and I think that's why, like I said, Caleb Porter, I think he has a chance. He's a younger guy. He's one of the youngest professional coaches in soccer, yet I think he's already proven he knows what it takes to win. So we're going to talk more about what it takes to win in soccer and that here coming up in just a little bit.
Broadcasting from the Score On Air studios at the Ohio Media School in Columbus, Ohio. Your home for all the latest sports news and talk. ScoreOnAir.com. The Score.
This is Spartan Biscuit with the Beermonger Sports Sessions, and we have a can't-miss interview with the Duchess of Doom, Allison Fisher, World Billiard Great, and 2002, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 Billiard Digest Player of the Year. April 28th, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Don't miss out. ScoreOnAir.com. New generation of sports talk radio.
Are you a sports fan? Do you have a mobile phone? Great, that's all you need to stay up to date with ScoreOnAir.com, the new generation of sports talk radio, with original talk shows starting every 2 hours, covering every sport from every angle.
From basketball
to hockey
to martial arts
to fantasy football.
We cover all Ohio sports. Just go to ScoreOnAir.com or download the TuneIn Radio app and search Score On Air. You'll be part of the action in no time. Whether you're stuck in traffic, at the grocery store, studying at the library, anywhere for that matter. Tune in anytime to get your sports fix. Follow us on social media or go to ScoreOnAir.com for even more original content, including play-by-play of local high school and college games, sports articles, and podcasts. ScoreOnAir.com is your home for the best analysis, coverage, and lukewarm sports takes. The best part, we're broadcasting live right here in Columbus.
OH.
ScoreOnAir.com, the new generation of sports talk radio.
The Score.
NWA Midwest Championship Wrestling is looking for interns. Have you heard of Ric Flair? Well, this is the company that brought you Ric Flair before he went to the WWE, and we're looking for interns to work behind the scenes hand in hand with production, with audio, with video, and with podcasts and radio. Contact Damon Dury, the big dog, at 740-971-3968.
Are you someone who has always dreamed of a career in sports media? The Ohio Media School now offers a 6-month sports emphasis program to prepare you for a whole new career. Whether it's radio or television, play-by-play or production, the Ohio Media School has you covered. You will receive training from professionals that are actually in the industry. The Ohio Media School will get you where you need to be for a successful career in this exciting, expanding field. To schedule a visit, call 614-655-5250 or go to beonair.com. Stop dreaming about a career in sports and make it a reality at the Ohio Media School.
The new generation of sports talk radio. Here's your ScoreOnAir.com Score Center update.
William Carlson centered the line, Scrappy Matt Calvert on his left, and locomotive Josh Anderson to his right that pulled the plug on Sidney Crosby and the Penguins' top line, allowing the Blue Jackets to survive a wild affair 5-4 before a sold-out crowd of 19,093 at Nationwide Arena. The Blue Jackets are still on the brink of elimination, but the series heads back to the Steel City for Game 5 on Thursday. The puck drops at 7 on Fox Sports Ohio. Adam Duvall hit his first career Grand Slam, and Bronson Arroyo got his first win in almost 3 years, helping the Reds beat the Baltimore Orioles 9-3 Tuesday night. The Reds look to take 2 of 3 from Baltimore tonight as 2-0 lefty Amir Garrett gets the ball for the Reds, and Baldo Jimenez starts for Baltimore. First pitch from Great American Ballpark is tonight at 7:10 on Fox Sports Ohio. Josh Tomlin, after matching the shortest start of his career in his previous appearance, pitched 6 innings as the Indians beat the Minnesota Twins 11-4 on Tuesday at Target Field. Tonight, Trevor Bauer starts for the Tribe. Adalberto Mejia takes the hill from Minnesota in the final game of a 4-game series. First pitch is tonight at 8:10 on Sports Time Ohio. For the latest news, scores, and updates, keep it locked right here to the new generation of sports talk radio, ScoreOnAir.com, The Score.
You're listening to the home of heart-pounding, adrenaline-pumping sports. Broadcasting from Ohio Media School in the greatest city in the state. In the greatest state in the country.
In the greatest country in the world.
You're listening to ScoreOnAir.com.
Are you a sports fan? Do you have a mobile phone? Great, that's all you need to stay up to date with ScoreOnAir.com, the new generation of sports talk radio, with original talk shows starting every 2 hours, covering every sport from every angle.
From basketball
to hockey
to martial arts
to fantasy football.
We cover all Ohio sports. Just go to ScoreOnAir.com or download the TuneIn Radio app and search Score On Air. You'll be part of the action in no time. Whether you're stuck in traffic, at the grocery store, studying at the library, anywhere for that matter. Tune in anytime to get your sports fix. Follow us on social media or go to ScoreOnAir.com for even more original content, including play-by-play of local high school and college games, sports articles, and podcasts. ScoreOnAir.com is your home for the best analysis, coverage, and lukewarm sports takes. The best part, we're broadcasting live right here in Columbus.
OH.
IO.
ScoreOnAir.com, the new generation of sports talk radio.
The Score.
School.
Are you someone who has always dreamed of a career in sports media? The Ohio Media School now offers a 6-month sports emphasis program to prepare you for a whole new career. Whether it's radio or television, play-by-play or production, the Ohio Media School has you covered. You will receive training from professionals that are actually in the industry. The Ohio Media School will get you where you need to be for a successful career in this exciting, expanding field. To schedule a visit, call 614-655-5250 or go to beonair.com. Stop dreaming about a career in sports and make it a reality at the Ohio Media School.
NWA Midwest Championship Wrestling is looking for interns. Have you heard of Ric Flair? Well, this is the company that brought you Ric Flair before he went to the WWE, and we're looking for interns to work behind the scenes hand in hand with production, with audio, with video, and with podcasts and radio. Contact Damon Dury, the big dog, at 740-971-3968.
You're listening to the Crew SC Soccer Show on ScoreOnAir.com Columbus and the Be On Air Network.
Welcome back to Crew SC Soccer Show. I'm Joe Mikulski. You're listening to the Crew SC Soccer Show on The Score, the new generation of sports talk radio. You can check us out on the TuneIn app. Just find us at Score On Air or ScoreOnAir.com. If you guys want to check out what we're doing today, you can also check us out on YouTube. Just search Score On Air. Now, if you guys are feeling kind of lucky today, we also do have a weekly giveaway. Right now we're giving away a Driven Foundation t-shirt. All you got to do is text the word SCORE to 614-641-0674. Once again, just text the word SCORE to 641-0674. We give those something away every week, and it's for a good foundation, so make sure to get in your text as soon as possible. Now, we're going to hop back to some Crew soccer talk. I know it's been a pretty uplifting few weeks here with the Crew looking really good, getting that big win against the Timbers, getting that big win last week, and then we kind of had that letdown this weekend with the Crew losing 2-0 to the New York Red Bulls. And this week we do not have another easy week as we're playing another team from New York in the New York SC. So it's going to be a fun one this week, but I think this week really kind of showed the younger guys what it's going to take with our new goalie. We had a couple of injuries, so it's gonna be interesting to see what Coach Berhalter does with the lineup this week. Obviously, the first half injuries really took a toll on us. You've got, one of our top defending prospects and Artur going out with a broken wrist. They haven't really announced how long he's going to be out, but a broken wrist, you can play with it, you can't, but you want to make sure he's 100%. So as a defender, you need to get in there, and that might kind of make him back off a little bit. Now Crognell, I'm not sure that a lot of people have said that he couldn't even walk off with his leg injury. I'm waiting to find out more information on that, but it's going to be interesting to see two younger guys that have gone down with these injuries, two guys that I feel like the club really put a lot of pressure on to, kind of step up. Offensively wise, the Crew really didn't get a lot of attempts this weekend against the Red Bulls. The Red Bulls play a lot of press, so they're gonna be on top of you. And it seemed like the Crew really were trying to lengthen the field out. A lot of those, long passes, a lot of the chips forward, and it didn't seem to quite work for them. You definitely have to watch out for New York City FC this weekend on Saturday because they're really going to push you. It's going to be interesting to see what the matchups are defensively wise in the back half. And me personally, I'm really, really, really waiting for Pippa to step up. And this comes, me personally, from last year. when, the Crew had their on the field, off their field incidents, but the biggest one was something that everybody knows about with Kai Kamara and Federico Higuain when they got into it in the middle of a game over a penalty shot. Now, me personally, I'm all for giving the man his chance at a hat trick. I personally think it should have gone to Kai Kamara. But Pippa was the captain at the time, and it's really his on-field choice. I think what they both displayed was kind of unsportsmanlike, but hey, if it weren't for Kai Kamara, they wouldn't have been in that position anyways. Make a long story short, things got crazy. Everybody knows about Kamara's, locker room antics or whatever you want to call them. So they got rid of him. But I think that was a bad decision, because how are you going to get rid of your top scorer? Especially over a guy like Higuain, who, to me personally, over the last few years, hasn't been as productive. He had his 1 year where he was the chip master. His toe touched that ball, and it was over your head, and you could not pace it out. Goalies, they couldn't time it. But lately, I feel like Pippa has kind of taken a step back. I don't know if it's him being more reserved or what, but he definitely has not been as productive on the offensive side of the ball. I feel like he's waiting for certain things to happen to get that one moment instead of making them happen like he used to. It really says a lot about the direction of the team in the decisions of who they're going to keep, who they're going to play. Yes, the Crew have looked good so far this year, but when it comes to the future, it definitely looks bright. But there are some question marks, and we're going to see what the Crew have to say about that. Like I said, again on Saturday, playing New York City FC, one of the newer teams in the MLS, and they're electric. They really are. To watch them, their front is fast. They definitely capitalize on the ball. It gets inside the box, and you'd better watch out for Tommy. You better watch out for the hair flowing in, because if he gets his foot on it, there's no way you're going to stop it. Outside of that, the Crew just they need another punch. They need to step in there and really do what we're all expecting them to do and step up. Start this game out hot and fast. It is a home game, so you've got the Nordeca right there. You have the Crew faithful are going to be out in force. So I'm telling you right now, if you've never been to a Crew game, make sure to get out there, check things out, experience the game firsthand. Make sure to find Frankie. And hopefully the Crew are going to light it up this weekend and give you something to enjoy. We're going to be back in just a few minutes.
This is Bob McElligott, the radio voice of the Columbus Blue Jackets, and you're listening to the new generation of sports talk radio, ScoreOnAir.com. The Score.
Hey guys, Matty Ice here, proud alum of the Ohio Media School. Get the training you need to get a job you will love. The Ohio Media School has classes in radio, television, sports broadcasting, and film and video production. Visit BeOnAir.com today to get started. That's BeOnAir.com.
What's good, Big Game James?
How you feeling, D.O. Jr.?
My guy, I'm super excited. High school sports is starting back, man.
Man, I'm even more excited because we got this new show starting. Tell the people what we doing, D.O. Jr.
Man, we starting the Central Ohio High School Showcase, the COHSS.
That's right. We're covering football, basketball, baseball, soccer, volleyball, and track and field. If it's in season, we own it.
Hey, you know we do this for the kids, man. You can listen live by going to ScoreOnAir.com via the TuneIn app, or watch us streaming live by going to the Score On Air YouTube channel, the COHSS. Giving you nothing less, showcasing Central Ohio's best.
I'm Jake Safranco with your Sports Doc Minute, brought to you by the OHSAA and the Ohio Media School. Now here's the Sports Doc, Dr. Chris Stankovich.
When we think of athletes, athletes like Derek Jeter, Kobe Bryant, or Tom Brady, often the first word that comes to mind is clutch. These are the types of athletes who seem to perform their best when the pressure is on. Did you know that clutch athletes aren't necessarily born that way? But what separates them from the competition is that clutch players are not afraid to fail. That's the biggest difference. In fact, they want the ball when the game is on the line. You know, in order to really solidify this point, you might want to go back to an old Michael Jordan commercial where he talked about not how many shots he made when the game was on the line, but how many times he missed. So it's important that we note, in order to perform our best in clutch situations, we have to want the ball in those situations, and we cannot be afraid to fail. Otherwise, we will fail in clutch situations.
This has been your Sports Doc Minute, brought to you by the OHSAA and the Ohio Media School. Enrolling now, visit beonair.com.
The Score wants to make you, a winner. Each week, ScoreOnAir.com is giving away a prize pack that'll knock your socks off.
Ouch, hey, that hurt.
How? First of all, like us on Facebook, and every Monday we will pin up a post to the top of our feed, updating you on what the week's prize and contest details are. Now here, take your socks back. A winner will be selected every week at 7 p.m. Friday on our combat sports show, Tyson's Punch-Out. So give us a call or text to get qualified. This is your home for the new generation of sports talk radio and weekly prize giveaways. Here's how to qualify. Message us on Facebook at Your Score on Air or Twitter, also at Your Score on Air with your name, phone number, email, and date of birth. Or you could just simply call or text any of our live shows at 614-641-0674 and tell them you want to qualify to win T-shirts, sporting memorabilia, and more. This is your home for the new generation of sports talk radio and weekly prize giveaways. ScoreOnAir.com. The Score.
Tuesdays from 12 to 2 p.m. It's the Beermonger Sports Sessions on ScoreOnAir.com, the new generation of sports talk radio, The Score, and it's not your regular sports show.
Hey guys, Scott Shelton here again, campus director for the Ohio Media School. Are you looking for a career in media, radio, television, sports broadcasting, or film and video production? You need to come check out the Ohio Media School's Columbus campus. You want a job that you will love, and we have the training to get you started. Stop by the Ohio Media School's audio and video studios to check out the opportunities and internships that we have for our students and graduates. Call 614-655-5250 or visit beonair.com. That's beonair.com.
You're listening to ScoreOnAir.com, the new generation of sports talk radio in Columbus. Online sports radio, WSOA ScoreOnAir.com. The Score.
The Score wants to make you, a winner. Each week, ScoreOnAir.com is giving away a prize pack that'll knock your socks off.
Ouch, hey, that hurt.
How? First of all, like us on Facebook, and every Monday we will pin up a post to the top of our feed, updating you on what the week's prize and contest details are. Now here, take your socks back. A winner will be selected every week at 7 p.m. Friday on our combat sports show, Tyson's Punch-Out. So give us a call or text to get qualified. This is your home for the new generation of sports talk radio and weekly prize giveaways. Here's how to qualify. Message us on Facebook at Your Score on Air or Twitter, also at Your Score on Air with your name, phone number, email, and date of birth. Or you could just simply call or text any of our live shows at 614-641-0674 and tell them you want to qualify to win T-shirts, sporting memorabilia, and more. This is your home for the new generation of sports talk radio and weekly prize giveaways. ScoreOnAir.com. The Score.
Hey guys, Matty Ice here, proud alum of the Ohio Media School. Get the training you need to get a job you will love. The Ohio Media School has classes in radio, television, sports broadcasting, and film and video production. Visit beonair.com today to get started. That's beonair.com.
What's good, Big Game James?
How you feeling, D.O. Jr.?
My guy, I'm super excited. High school sports is starting back, man.
Man, I'm even more excited because we got this new show starting. Tell the people what we doing, D.O. Jr.
Man, we starting the Central Ohio High School Showcase, the COHSS.
That's right. We're covering football, basketball, baseball, soccer, volleyball, and track and field. If it's in season, we own it.
Hey, you know we do this for the kids, man. You can listen live by going to ScoreOnAir.com via the TuneIn app or watch us streaming live by going to the Score on Air YouTube channel, the COHSS, giving you nothing less, showcasing Central Ohio's best.
You're listening to ScoreOnAir.com, the new generation of sports talk radio in Columbus. Online sports radio, WSOA ScoreOnAir.com. The Score.
You're listening to the Crew SC Soccer Show on ScoreOnAir.com Columbus and the Be On Air Network.
ScoreOnAir.com, the new generation of sports talk radio, and you're listening to the Crew SC Soccer Show with Joe Mikulski. And I've got my awesome, cool guest here, Jake Sofranco. Thanks for joining me, Jake.
Yeah, no problem, man. Try to embark my wisdom of my very little wisdom of soccer to you guys. But overall, it's still sport, and sports theory.
Well, you're a sports guy in general, so I wanted to bring this one up to kind of end the show on a high note. Fantasy sports in general. It started fantasy baseball, then it went to fantasy football, and they actually have like fantasy everything now. Fantasy golf, and they have a fantasy soccer league. What are your feelings on the whole fantasy sports thing?
I like it. I'm a gambler at heart anyway, and so anything that can keep you more connected to the sport you're watching, it doesn't hurt to have a little bit of lunch money on a game. Grown-ups can make grown-up decisions, and if that's they want to call it fantasy sports, bottom line, it's gambling. You're putting money on it, and unless you're just doing it for fun, and that's not a lot of fun to me. I don't know. Bragging rights, I guess, could be a thing, but generally, fantasy sports are a money thing, and it's gambling. So,
well, with like fantasy baseball, fantasy football, the way that they do those, is points based on certain stats and attributes of the game. With soccer, I find it kind of hard to maybe understand how they're going to score the whole fantasy thing because, you have assists and
maybe won a game.
Yeah. Like you might get lucky and have one score a game, so you get 10 points for that one goal, and then you get the two guys that maybe assisted in it. Outside of that, how are you gonna score this? Like 1 point per header, a clean pass.
I honestly, I'm not sure. I guess you would have to weight goalie saves pretty heavily.
So.
Shots will be a scoring play. So if you take a shot, that's going to be a scoring play, I'm sure. Penalty, if you get a red card, you lose points. I don't know.
Interesting.
That's kind of just off the top of my head. Are there after assists? What are the other scoring plays? What about like connected passes?
That's honestly, that's the only thing I can really think about is like pass percentage or even maybe possession time. But I feel like with the fantasy, like I said, fantasy baseball, fantasy football, it's easy, to kind of single out a player or because you have the offense and the defensive side of the ball. Quarterback throws a pass. Okay, pass connected. Yeah, you're good. But you're talking about a sport that never stops.
Okay,
clock doesn't stop, and it's really interesting to me how they would score this.
So I found I went to DraftKings to see how they score their soccer contests. You ready?
Oh yeah.
All right. So a goal is 10 points, an assist is 6 points, a shot is a point. A shot on goal is another point. A cross is 3/4 of a point. A foul drawn is a point. Fouls conceded, a half a point. A tackle won is a point. Pass intercepted is a half a point. A yellow card equals a -1.5 points. A red card -3 points. Penalty kick miss is -5 points. Saves is 2 points each. Goal conceded is -2 points. Clean sheet, whatever that means, is +5 points.
Pretty much a shutout.
Clean sheet for a goalkeeper is +5 points. Clean sheet for a defense player is +3 points.
Okay.
You get a win as a goalkeeper, that's 5 points. And a penalty kick save is worth 3 points. So there's definitely
there's a lot of points there.
Yeah, it's confusing as hell, but whatever.
You're definitely going to have to pay attention to the game pretty hard to at least know your points accurately, or you're waiting until the end of the weekend to check out how many points you got.
Essentially.
Yeah, pretty much. So, I always thought that the whole fantasy sports thing, I've never really jumped into it too much. It's always been interesting. I do, the fun leagues with friends, that kind of thing. I've never done anything where I'm putting some money on it. I'm a little too protective over my money. And I usually have bad luck to begin with. So, but, that makes it interesting knowing a little bit more about that, because I might have to actually see if there are, some fun, like, gambling style fantasy sports that I can check out.
What's
to
the
try.
point?
Well, okay, I'll give you
I'm
that.
just kidding.
Maybe we can find
No,
a
everybody
little
can have
$5.
Yeah, have fun. Never mind.
Now, see, that makes it interesting, because I want to see you and Cowherd talking about the stat lines, because I think that could get real interesting.
What, with soccer?
Any sport in general,
okay.
when it comes to the stat lines and I want, because he is always referring back to Vegas and
Well, I'm definitely referring back to Vegas, because if anybody doesn't have a rooting interest in it, their only rooting interest is making money, and so they're putting out a line based on trying to get action on both sides of the contest. So with that, you pretty much have a good read on what to actually expect in this game.
Very non-biased.
Yeah, I mean, they only care about making money. So they're going to try to get that number as close as possible to have 50% of the people betting on one side and 50% of the people betting on the other side, so that they can make what they call the VIG. So for every dollar bet, you pay an extra 10 cents if you lose.
Well, I'm glad I'm learning that one, because the gambling thing I'm really not too much into. I'm just that all or nothing sports fan. And
what's an opinion if you're not willing to put money behind it?
Now, I can't say that I haven't ever gambled on a sports event. I can't say that I haven't. But we'll get into that some other day. When we're talking about putting on Florida jerseys during national titles, and somebody pays you to do it, that kind of thing. So. But it's going to be interesting to see how far the Crew get this year, and I might have to check out this fantasy soccer thing, just because I am one of those guys. I do have rooting interest in teams, but I also like to follow players in general. When guys been on your team for so long, you build an interest in him. You get to know him a little bit. So I feel like there's certain players out there that I want to follow, even if they're not with my team.
Yeah, it's a weird thing that happened somewhere along the way with, you used to root for the player in the jersey, and now in this day and age, in this generation of sports fans, you're really rooting for the jersey anymore. With how much players move in all the sports, baseball was the first, and then I think football followed afterwards. And it was nice to be able to watch your favorite player for 10, 12 years. But it's a very rare thing for Tom Brady to stick around that long. And so, yeah, in that regard, it's interesting. Do you follow the player to the new city, or is the allegiance with the city and the team?
Mm-hmm. And, it gets real interesting when you talk to people about, okay, do I root for him? Do I not root for him just because he's on a certain team?
Right.
So there is a fine line, and like I said, Columbus, we're a very traditional town. We're a sports town. We're very close to our hometown teams here, and I mean the Crew is no different. Definitely no different in the fact that, once again, being one of the top 10 or the first 10 teams to join the league. We've been there at the start. We're always going to be there, and hopefully we never have any changes like that. But we'll get into more of that later on. But for now, it's been a pleasure talking to you.
Real quick, right up against it, but quick Columbus prediction for this weekend.
This weekend?
What do you got?
I'm going to have to go out on a limb here. I'm going to say the Crew are going to bounce back. I think it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be a low-scoring opportunity. I'm going to say 2-1. 2-1 over New York.
Regulation?
Yeah, okay. I think regulation's going to be good. You take them to overtime, and it starts pushing the endurance.
All right. My money's on your hands then.
All right.
All right.
Well, it's been great, and we'll be back again next week.
Broadcasting from the Score On Air studios at the Ohio Media School in Columbus, Ohio. Your home for all the latest sports news and talk. ScoreOnAir.com. The Score.
This is Spartan Biscuit with the Beermonger Sports Sessions, and we have a can't-miss interview with the Duchess of Doom, Allison Fisher, World Billiard Great and 2002, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 Billiard Digest Player of the Year, April 28th, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Don't miss out. ScoreOnAir.com, new generation of sports talk radio.
Are you someone who has always dreamed of a career in sports media? The Ohio Media School now offers a 6-month sports emphasis program to prepare you for a whole new career. Whether it's radio or television, play-by-play or production, the Ohio Media School has you covered. You will receive training from professionals that are actually in the industry. The Ohio Media School will get you where you need to be for a successful career in this exciting, expanding field. To schedule a visit, call 614-655-5250 or go to beonair.com. Stop dreaming about a career in sports and make it a reality at the Ohio Media School.
Are you a sports fan? Do you have a mobile phone?